Hello everyone. I, Nandini Gupta, welcome you all to the special episode of the Forensic Corner. Today we have with us Mr. Robert Simpson, who is an alarm forensic expert, and he has developed an innovation that has not only helped in contributing to the preventive forensics domain, but he has also made a significant impact by strengthening the home security chains in the UK. What happens if we have a normal door security chain? Anyone can come in easily and can intrude our house very easily.
I wonder who that could be at this time of night. Hello, can I help you?
I'm here to read your meter.
Can I see some ID, please?
Witness your money!
Stop! Stop!
What if we have automatic access control?
I wonder who that could be at this time of night. Hello, can I help you? Hi, Mum, it's Shell. Oh, hello, darling. One moment and I'll let you in.
How about if we had an automatic forensic door alarm?
I wonder who that could be at this time of night. Hello, can I help you?
I'm here to read your meter.
Can I see some ID, please? Hello, police, please.
Let's find out about his innovation and get some insights.
Okay, so my background is in the telecommunications industry. I was a car telephone engineer for a few number of years, where I was responsible for the installation of all types of mobile communications equipment into vehicles. And back from 1986, when I started doing it, as you can imagine, when car phones were invented, everybody wanted one, especially the bastions of industry, business leaders. So the majority of my work was just traveling around the United Kingdom, fitting mobile phones into cars. I had a serious road traffic accident back in 1998, and I left me with a serious injury. And it was whilst in recuperation, I watched a UK police drama. The scene depicted an elderly lady answering a call at her front door. And on approaching the front door, she did all what crime prevention handbooks tell you to do here in the UK and securely fastened what is commonly known as the door security chain or bar. Now, this product is a handheld personal attack alarm. So if you're a female, they issue them to nurses here in the UK. And it's from a private company called Walk Easy Personal Attack Alarms in Cambridgeshire. And you would hold the device as such and you would walk around. Now, there is a DNA alarm involved in this, but as a handheld option here in the UK, you would not be able to use it in a court of law because it's mobile. It's entered into the public domain. So whilst it can be taken on as a consideration, it can't be used as a criminal offence. So the idea is this thing will set off 128 decibel siren and at the same time spray a forensic marking fluid, which is UV based. So it's invisible to the naked eye, you can't see it. So I've thought about it for a second and I thought, well, if you took this device and encumbered it into a static environment and it was activated by a definitive attempt to force unlawful entry, you could actually tie A to B to C to D. So using the device, if somebody attempts to force entry into your home, it activates, so it alerts neighbours and passers-by that you've got a problem at your front door. But at the same time, the person who's attempting to force entry is being sprayed in a forensic marking fluid. Now, the forensic marking fluid, you can't go home and wash it off. Once it's on you, it will stay there for up to 12 weeks. Now, it depends on the amount of washing frequency and exfoliation. But if you get it into your hair, you have to get it cut out. If you get it on your skin, it goes into the creases of your skin. And I don't know how well this is going to work, but a police officer in the UK will use a UV torch. When you're doing your CSI studies or your forensic science studies, you're looking for bodily fluids and it fluoresces. So running on the same concept as that, I don't know if it's going to pick up at all, but when you start spraying it on your face, I don't know if people can see that. Can you see that?
Yes, the door.
Is that coming off well?
Aerosols. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
You see, a policeman working at night sees an individual walking up the street and he's got his hoodie on, for argument's sake, or he's got his head down, and he can say, "Excuse me, sir," and he can just walk up to that individual and be holding a UV torch like that. And if that person, you know that that person has attempted to force entry into somebody's house. Now, he would be arrested on the suspicion of attempting to force entry into a dwelling. They wouldn't know where that dwelling was. They know he's got a marker on him. So what they do is they take him to a police station, and in the police stations here in the UK, we have things called black suites. Sounds really, really cool, doesn't it? A black suite. But what it is, it's a UV arch, and the normal lighting is switched off and they fluoresce. Now, CSIs here in the UK with regards to smart water, Selector DNA, there's another company in Australia called DNA Guardian. They are aware of how to collect the DNA. So they would take a swab of that person and that will be sent off for analysis. Now, colour denotes the company. So if you're looking at Selector DNA, you're looking at a blue component, which is what I've got on my face. We use a substance which is like Selector DNA, but in a different variant. And then you've got Smart Water, which is green. There are other companies out there, their UV illuminations are red, and you've also got orange as well now. So that denotes what company it's going through. Now that goes off to a forensics laboratory, and the forensic component is reverse engineered. Now, if I was to tell you, this canister, they say 1 to the power of 49, it's now 1 to the power of 59. So if you take the number 1 and you put 59 zeros after the 1, that's how many forensic codes you've got. So a forensic code is registered, and you can see from the bottom of the can, if I get that closer to you, there's a number. Now, here in the UK, an industry-approved locksmith or security installer, who is a professional in his own right, has the ability to install this. And when he installs it, when he fits that at the front door in the product that's called AIM, he registers that code at the front door. But he might put one on the back door. He might put one on an internal door, because it's an early warning system. If you're using this as an overnight security measure, and somebody tries to force entry into your house, if you're woken up at 3 o'clock in the morning with 128 decibel alarm, I can't set it off. If I set it off in here now, all your mics will mute, and it'll cause all sorts of aggravation. And we'll show you in a video what it actually sounds like later. But the police, getting back to the police, they swab it, it comes back with a forensic code. That forensic code is then listed. They then go to a company called Retainer Group that run the International Security Register. Now that is normally for products and items such as bicycles, cars, you know, anything that catalytic converters which are getting stolen. You can mark all these items up with a forensic code which is registered to your house. So the police at a later date, if that item is stolen, have the opportunity to identify it as a stolen property, reverse engineer the code and return it back to its rightful owner. But at the same time, any person that's found with that product is receiving stolen goods. So that's something the police are interested in. So now you've got an individual who's got a forensic stain. We as an organisation, using that forensic trace technology, can say this security device was manufactured on this date. It was installed at this date. That code was registered on this date, and it sat there for 2 years until such a time it was activated. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, maybe 12 weeks later, a person entered into a UV environment or was arrested on a totally separate offence. He was still carrying the marker. We can place that person at that door at the time it was activated. So you've got the definitive attempt to force unlawful entry. So here in the UK, we've got something called a PAS 23/24 open attack test. My product has independently passed every single one of these criteria that they set. So if you think of a man that weighs, and we work in stones here in the UK, so I weigh 15 stone. So if I was running at 5 miles an hour at a door, it wouldn't activate. On the second attempt, it would activate. So it shows you that it wasn't just the wind caught the door and set the device off, or someone opening the door too hard set the device off. That won't happen. The only time the device activates is when there's a definitive attempt to force unlawful entry. So the police now have an individual who's attempted to force entry into this house 6 weeks ago. We as an organisation can place that person at that crime scene. So now you've got to get yourself into a burglar's mindset or somebody that perpetrates that type of crime. They're thinking to themselves, well, hold on a second, that's got some warning stickers up in the window. What do those warning stickers say? This house is forensically protected. Hold on a second, what door has got that forensic alarm installed in it? Oh, too much aggravation, let's go somewhere else. But at the same time, the person with the forensic alarm sitting in their house is sitting at home knowing that any attempt to force entry into their home is going to be met with a proactive response. So it eases the fear associated with burglary, forced entry, home invasion, robbery. And as long as you use the device, you're covered. And that's how the device works. Now, we've been working with police forces up and down the country, predominantly in domestic violence applications. So you've got an abusive spouse. He gets given an abatement order to stay away, or he or she is given an abatement order to stay away from the house. And they're told to stay 500 yards away from that house. You're not allowed to go anywhere near it. They might in turn get drunk and decide that they want to go back to their own home. Now that person is living in fear. So we're easing that fear having that device installed. If the device is activated, we can actually turn around to a court and say he wasn't 500 yards away, he was actually standing at the front door. And coupled with some CCTV applications, you can actually place A, B, C, D, and it all needs to go in tune with each other. Otherwise, it all falls down. And that's how the
That's
device
very amazing
works.
because like these things, the fluorescent stains, basically, we have seen its applications in the laboratory environment, but the way you have brought it to the commercialized platform and how the people in the houses are being feeling safe after this innovation, that's really amazing because that shows that you had that you connected the dots. So first of
Yeah,
all, sir, that's really amazing because I think every person, like even as students, if we start having that type of mindset, definitely a lot of things can be improved. And so one question which I had in mind when you told about your innovation was that after weeks also we are able to detect the person. But so is this fluid and the stain that is coming on the face or any part of the area, is it having any type of reactions to the person, like it's neutral?
100%, 100% totally non-toxic. I could spray it in my mouth, nothing would happen. Okay, so what you've got to be careful, because you've got human rights. You know, some people, no, for the argument's sake, you know, the United States of America, in some states they use guns, in other states they don't. So somebody, you know, we've shown the device to many people who says, yeah, I will just pull out my handgun and I'll shoot them. Well, you've got to have the wherewithal to realize that you're being attacked in your own home and you need to go to your lockbox to get out your firearm. This device, if you put it into a real-time environment, if it goes off and it's 3 o'clock in the morning and it's running at 128 decibels, criminals don't want to get caught. The first thing that's going to happen is that that person is going to turn around and run away. If any alarm goes off, if somebody raises the alarm and pushes their own alarm system, they're not going to try and gain entry because they don't want to get caught. And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to put it into the mind's eye of the criminal that if you get covered in this stuff, it's not going to kill you. It's not going to hurt you in any way, shape or form. So there's no litigation later where someone says, oh, the alarm was really loud and it's burst my eardrum. Well, I'm sorry, you shouldn't have been trying to force entry into that house. If you weren't trying to force entry into that house, that alarm wouldn't have gone off. You wouldn't have been in the position that you are in now. So it's like a reverse use. You've got to get into the burglar or the person's mindset to get them to realise that, oh, there's something in this property that is going to link me to the crime scene. I'm going to go somewhere else. But as answering your question, no, it's totally non-toxic. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, the stuff, I mean, I think it comes up quite well in daylight hours. At night time, if I was walking along the street, I'd light up. I don't know if you have the Smurfs in India. It's a cartoon program where everybody's blue.
Yes, so we have seen that.
You have seen the Smurfs?
We have also seen the movie part 1 and part 2.
I would look like, in a nighttime environment, bearing in mind this is daytime environment, this is what I'm showing up like at the side of the road. And these torches are £49. I don't know what that equates to in Indian currency. So police officers normally buy them because they're looking at people walking along the street, maybe holding a television under their arm, because you can protect your property against the same type of theft, because you've used a forensic marker, or you've used the ISR, which is the International Security Register, use a UV marking fluid, but use a number which is unique to your house. But me at the side of the road, this is 4 days. I've done a demonstration on 5 days, so this is 5 days old. And this is, as you can see. But if I'm just walking along the street, my human rights haven't been, you know, that some people are saying that they need to have it so that it's red or it's orange, so the police will actually know that. And I can agree with that in some respects, you know, because you'll get the instant arrest if they find somebody. If somebody's going to be getting their clothes off, anybody else that comes into the area, like the homeowner, maybe a neighbour comes round to assist, you know, they could get the stuff on them, and then they're walking around a shopping precinct the next day and they're going to get arrested because they're carrying a forensic marker. Whereas in this way, you're just looking at the usual suspects, because police know who commit burglaries in their area. They have the usual suspects. You know, some people say that it's drugs users, they're looking to go away to get a fix. They're going to sell a television for £10 so that they can go and get their next fix. Or you've got the career criminal who will look at a house and think, well, what security it's got? What is it? What's there to protect it? And if that level of protection is very high, what you do as a homeowner determines whether you become a victim of crime. If you're one of these people that's like, leave your doors open because, you know, the neighbours might pop round for a bag of sugar, and you trust the neighbours. And I've seen it. I've actually been to homes where people have got, they're having the house secured because they've been a victim of burglary, or they've had somebody in their house that they don't want there. So it takes a certain trauma in your life, or a criminal trauma, that makes you say, oh, do you know what? I'm going to start locking my door. I'm going to start putting these alarms up, which helps me. But I don't like the idea of people living in fear. I want people sitting at home thinking to themselves, do you know what? Anything happens outside tonight, I'm safe in my own home. But there you are.
Sir, is this product also able to take something from the criminal?
No.
Or is it giving the impression to the criminal?
What it's doing is expelling a forensic marking fluid, a UV-based forensic marking fluid through the gap in the door. You know, and we're not saying that the chain's going to stop the determined attack. The chain will give way, because you need to think about the fire departments, ambulances and police that might need to gain access in the event of emergency or other criminal offence. They still need to get in. But the amount of what it does is it sprays them in a forensic marking fluid. Now, the forensic marking fluid will be all over the door. So after the event has taken place, if crime scene investigations attend, you know, they'll be looking for fingerprints. They'll be looking for, you know, items of hair, or they'll be looking for footprints on the door. But at the same time, they will be able to illuminate the door and say, oh, this has got forensic marking fluid all over it. Let's get the homeowner here. Oh, the homeowner's got it. So we can actually put the homeowner at that door. We can put the door is being forced open. This alarm has gone off, because once the alarm has been activated, it becomes redundant. So another a forensic alarm installer, we call them over here in the UK, would need to come round, take that item off, and that item is actually put into police evidence, because if it needs to go to court, we can determine that it's past 23, it's been independently tested, this was a canister at the point of manufacture, this is the day it was installed, it was expelled on this day, and again, it goes back to the chain of evidence. So it's a fine balance, but at the end of the day, your question is, it sprays that person and it links everybody in that vicinity. The police, for argument's sake, if they got there, the item goes off for 4 minutes. And if you put that into real-time environment, 4 minutes at 128 decibels, if a passing police car was there, the police officer would get it on them if it was still being activated. Because once you've activated it, you ain't stopping it. You need to put it into a plastic bag and seal it. And that's not going to happen because it's in a static environment. So you've got a cover on it. So you need to get 2 security screws underneath it. So you just tell the homeowner, you know, if it does go off, just leave it to expel, call the police. So at the time of the installations take place, the forensic alarm installer goes through a scenario with the homeowner of how to use it, how not to use it, and this is what happens if it ever does go off. But I would say we have thousands of units installed across the UK, and not one of them has been maliciously activated. So the deterrent value is working. I mean, I can tell you a very quick story. We have places that are like village halls. And what it is where somebody will, if they have a wedding reception, or they have to, you know, any sort of christening or an engagement party, there's a couple of bars there. There's a place for a band. There's a dance floor, and it's a meeting area. This place was targeted by burglars 18 times over a 12-month period. So in 12 months, it was burgled 18 times. And in the time that they were looking at burglaries, they were looking for stuff that wasn't nailed down, like laptops, like tablets, mobile phones, any money that was left in the tills, alcohol, which might have been left in bottles, this sort of thing. And we were asked by Staffordshire Police if we could go in there and do a trial. We said, yeah, no problems at all. And I attended, and we put a forensic alarm on every single door. So it was on all the patio doors, bar doors, fire exits. There's a certain way you need to use them on a fire exit, but we won't go into that now. But at night, when the caretaker locks up, he goes and applies all the chains around the building and then goes out through security shutters. And that was back in 2016 we did this. And since 2016 to date, so we're talking about 5 years now, there's been no recorded offences taking place at that property since forensic alarms were installed at the entry points, which proves to me that the deterrent value is working. Because when the police, and this is what we encourage police forces to do, and it's a criteria that we've actually set, most police forces have a Twitter account or they have a Facebook account, and they'll take pictures of it. Forensic alarms have been installed at this property, so in the event of it being burgled, we have the ability to identify criminals. Hashtag burglary prevention. And then at the end of the day, it's working. So from that respect, I'm extremely happy, because it costs the taxpayer here in the UK about £5,000 for the police to attend a single burglary. That's the cost of the 2 officers turning up, the CSIs in attendance, the vans, the cars, the 2-week investigation that may or may not get results. So if you think of that times that by 18, that's quite a lot of money that I've saved Staffordshire Police Force and the Thames. Thank you would be nice.
Sir, actually, your work should be acknowledged because the way you have expressed this technology and the way it is being implemented in the UK, that's really amazing. Because the basic, I think, at the initial stages, the crimes like robbery and burglary are the main crimes that are being started by an individual who's a first-time offender or even a habitual criminal. So, if initially a fear has been created in their minds, the further crime prevention, the preventive forensics has also been established over here. So this in turn is a long term, it is having a good future aspect as well, because the way it is being implemented, that's really good.
You see,
That's amazing.
We've worked with Duffield Powys Police, a very proactive police officer saw a video of me one day and called me into the office, so to speak, and we done a crime prevention tour of an estate in a place called Llanelli, called the Granby Estate, and there's a couple of videos online showing that they put there was like 1 or 2 burglaries a week taking place in this small knit place, and there's been nothing since we've done this roadshow. This was 2 years ago. You've had the odd antisocial behaviour that's not been inside the home though. We've done some domestic violence applications, again, no activations. We work with honour-based violence police departments, burglary units, and domestic violence units, predominantly here in the UK. So if you get a burglary victim who's had somebody in their house and they feel uneasy living in their house now, the police will call us to go and target what they call target harden that home in that specific safeguarding application. So that person is, the fear is eased. And as an inventor, it's very good at having these ideas. But my first-hand experience of going to a job which was a domestic violence application was with Bedfordshire Police, which is very close to me here where I am in the UK. And you hear some stories. I mean, you watch a lot of television, you can watch some films, and you've got it in your mind's eye about how bad it could be. But when you're actually physically there, I mean, all I can do is commend every single DVU, HBU, and burglary unit here in the UK for the work that they do, not necessarily pre-crime, but after crime, because you've got a victim there who's actually terrified. And some of the stories I could tell you would make you go grey, because it did me. I was absolutely disgusted and appalled about what one human being can do to another human being, and they're supposed to be your wife. Absolutely disgusted. And and then I've got to meet this person that is the victim of crime, and they're terrified of men, from that point moving forward. But I mean, there are some, I can't really go into too much detail because some of it's harrowing, and I don't want to upset the viewers watching this video. But I can tell you, it's a very sad world, and if I can step back from that, and I can look at an idea that I had after watching an episode of The Bill, which is what the program was called, has got us to this point, and that person has now got a smile on their face, knowing that when they go to bed at night, they can feel at ease because they have an early warning system for anybody trying to force entry. It puts a smile on my face, and I'm happy with that.
Sir, I'm really happy to see that your innovation and your dream that you started with, it's been implemented, and people are actually having that ease of not having fear in their homes. So that's really nice.
Still pre-production sample. That's not a physical product, but that's what an AIM security product looks like.
This is a real-time example of an intruder trying to come inside the house and was caught. We hope that now you must have learned how people are applying forensics in their day-to-day lives and getting benefits out of it. So just keep learning and stay tuned with the Forensic Corner. And he has we have an automatic access door control, automatic forensic door alarm, automatic forensic door alarm.